Welcome to Turnpike Sports. I'm Dave Weischadle, and as always, I'm joined by my producer and co-host, Doug Weischadle. Doug, how was your betting week? I didn't do a lot of betting this week.
No, it was kind of a busy week in a lot of other places, and, it was just one of those things where sometimes you have a slow betting week, and that's all. I mean, I watched some of the Olympics. I didn't bet on anything.
Yeah, me too. I haven't bet on the Olympics. I was watching the NBA draft, and I know there was a lot of people betting. I saw a lot of the betting shows. They had the over-under of the spot where some of the players would be taken, but I never jumped on that. So it was a relatively bet-free week for me.
No, I think the NBA draft is a unique animal as compared to, like, the NFL draft.
Yeah, the NFL draft is more of a big event. I mean, that for me, that is the draft. When you say the draft, I always think NFL. I mean, NBA, it's interesting to watch, especially you're following your teams. You want to see how the Sixers or the Knicks or the Nets do and things like that. But, I throwing bets down on the NBA draft I wasn't really motivated to do that.
Not to belittle the draft.
No. But I just never I wasn't motivated to throw any money on the draft.
No, and again, it's one of those event betting situations, I guess you can call it, because I don't know enough about the individuals involved, and that's on me. I don't do enough research to know the kids coming out in the draft.
Well, we got a great show coming up for you. We have a book report and also a Beatin The House segment. And for my interview, I'm talking with Brian Pempus from usbets.com and Better Collective. We're going to go through some of the big gambling stories of the week. It's been a busy week in sports, so let's take a trip down the Turnpike. Today's trip down the Turnpike is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using our promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
Exit 1.
Okay, normally when we talk sports betting in this exit, we usually have some kind of big deal that was made or some kind of event. We've actually got a rare occurrence due to sports betting.
Okay.
This has to do with European soccer. It's a very rare situation that's occurred, and it's technically not even actual sports betting. It has to do with sports betting data.
This is very interesting. Yeah, I think it's the first of its kind that I've heard of. Maybe it happened before, but no, I've never heard of something like this happening. But go ahead.
18 countries, represented by a group called the European Leagues, have issued a new tender to find a suitable betting data partner.
Okay.
The European Leagues is a group that represents the commercial interests of soccer leagues across the European region. You're looking at 18 countries, 8,100 matches. I'm sorry, I misspoke there. That's a huge number. 8,100 matches per year. They're looking for a 3 to 5 year deal to make the rights available beginning in 2022.
So they're just putting the call out to all the data companies out there. So what were they accepting bids kind of thing? Is that what they want to do?
Basically, it's an RFP.
Okay.
It's a request for a proposal. They're looking for either one exclusive partner, or they're looking for several non-exclusive deals with numerous partners.
Look, we all know data drives the sports betting industry, so this is really important.
Well, you said data drives the industry. Yeah, I mean, you have, Genius Sports doing the deal with the NFL. That was huge.
Yep.
A lot of states are requiring official league data, for their sports books. And overseas, it's becoming the same way. Official data has to be there in place for a lot of the sports books to operate. And, it's just one of those things where this is a very rare occurrence for 18 different countries. We've got, let me give the list here, Belgium, Czech Republic, Denmark, the Netherlands, Portugal, Austria, Romania, Greece, Israel, Serbia, Slovakia, Finland, Kazakhstan, Latvia, Switzerland, Norway, and Sweden. That's a very unusual pairing of countries that want to pool their resources together.
It's unusual because they're all working together to get this data deal. So, no, it's important. Like I said, that's how important sports betting has become to the industry.
It's also one of the more unique aspects of soccer versus what we have in the United States, because there aren't too many different professional leagues out there in the United States.
Sure.
You have the NFL, that's it, for football, basically.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball. I mean, you have the minor leagues. That would be like the Major League Baseball system and the minor league baseball system combining to do a data rights deal.
I gotta be honest. I am amazed at the amount of soccer leagues there are in Europe. So I always looking through the television and seeing what soccer matches are on, and the Premier League and the other leagues and whatever league, and it's really interesting to keep them straight.
And also, it's not just men's leagues now. We're talking about women's matches. They're talking about the women's leagues from Germany and Denmark.
This is involved in the pulling and looking for the data deal.
Yep.
Okay.
And also the third-tier German men's league, and even some of the summer leagues that play. So
I said, there's a lot of leagues in Europe.
There's a lot more soccer being played than there is some of the other sports. I mean, we have fall football with the NFL. We don't have spring football yet. I mean, we got a couple minor leagues coming up. Now, I don't mean minor, but smaller leagues independent leagues coming up for the NFL. I mean, for football. But really, I mean, European soccer is year-round, which is amazing.
Well, and also for people who like betting early in the morning in the U.S., it's a perfect thing because, right now we're recording this in the morning. If I look at my sports books, there's soccer matches going on now. So and you can pull the plug on a bet like 9, 10 o'clock in the morning here.
Well, let's see what happens with this. Yeah. I'm very curious to see if they get one exclusive betting rights partner versus the non-exclusive deals. The non-exclusives probably would happen quicker than an exclusive.
Sure.
Exit 2.
We're going to go over to esports with a first by Fortnite.
Okay. What did Fortnite do?
Well, Fortnite, let's see. Back in Chapter 2, Season 3 of Fortnite, for people who follow Fortnite, you know what that means. I don't know what that means, honestly.
Chapter 2, is that a
season
version of it? Okay.
It must be a different map. Because Fortnite occurs on a map. Every tournament, every season has a specific map that they play on.
Okay, so Chapter 2 is the second map of the whatever they're calling it. Okay.
Now, Epic Games, which is the owner and publisher of Fortnite, in Chapter 2, Season 3, I'm trying to get the storyline straight.
Chapter 2, Season 3, yes. Oh my God, all right.
They flooded the map. And what happened was when the water receded, they created a sort of some changes to the map where they included some roadways instead of having people running around just shooting each other in teams, all like the normal Fortnite stuff, how it started.
Sure.
They incorporated vehicles, namely sports cars, semi-trucks, sedans, pickup trucks.
Uh-oh. Do I smell a product placement thing going on here now?
Well, I wouldn't call this necessarily product placement. This is a partnership.
Oh, okay. All right.
Now, none of the previous vehicles were based on real-world cars. These were all made-up vehicles, different setups, all that stuff. So Fortnite has gone ahead and partnered with Ferrari.
Wow, okay.
Which I find incredible because I'm assuming Ferrari has been trying so hard to get into the esports world for so long now. I know they do a whole bunch of esports simulations. They have some other races that they're involved in esports-wise.
So now when you jump into Fortnite, you're going to be able to control a Ferrari? Is that what
you're
we're talking about?
You're going to be able
now?
to drive a Ferrari 296 GTB model.
All right.
And it's going to be specifically altered, designed, however you want it, formatted for Fortnite.
And I'm assuming Ferrari will have their name all over the place.
Oh, everywhere.
Everywhere, okay.
And also, this, like I said, this is the first time Fortnite has done something along these lines. They've done crossovers with brands before. They've done movies, comic books, video games.
I'd say Ferrari's pretty cool, though. I mean, I don't remember another deal in sports. I'm sure it was sports and racing and things like that, but not something in the esports realm with like a race car of that caliber, you know?
Well, this is actually a consumer car.
Well, it's a consumer car, but when I think of Ferrari, I think of high performance kind of thing. So it's
well, you've got
is this a new kind of Ferrari, kind
just
of
introduced this
luxury
year.
Kind of sedan? Is that what we're talking about? Is Ferrari making one of those things?
This was just introduced this year. It's a brand new Ferrari.
Okay,
V6 turbocharged engine. And it's an electric motor Ferrari.
Oh, okay.
818 horsepower electric motor in this Ferrari.
Really? I didn't know Ferraris made electric vehicles.
Well, they're world conscious now.
Good
so
for them.
You got to be green now. You got to offer this stuff.
Yeah, and it's a great promotion for Ferrari, I would assume. Fortnite, it's right in front of you. It's getting the younger crowd. You ever want to drive a Ferrari, you can now on Fortnite.
Well, a lot of people aren't going to be able to afford this Ferrari because the prices start at $330,000.
Wow.
So if you ever wanted to drive a Ferrari or even own a Ferrari, you can do it virtually.
Yeah, go to Fortnite.
You get your Ferrari there.
$330,000, huh? Okay. I'll play Fortnite instead.
Exit 3.
Okay, we're going to do a little trademark roundup today.
Okay.
We've got 2 trademarks to talk about, kind of interesting stories behind each one of them. The Milwaukee Bucks have filed 2 trademarks, and normally when a basketball team or a pro team files a trademark, it's not really big news.
Yeah.
This is big because, or I should say interesting, they filed 2 trademarks, Bucks and 6 and Bucks and 6. Now, the difference is 6 is spelled out in one of them.
Okay, so both of them dealt with Bucks and 6, and I guess that's celebrating their championship, correct?
These were filed before they won the championship.
Oh, by the Bucks?
By the Bucks.
Oh, whoa, what a prediction,
During the finals, they filed them.
Ooh. You know what? I'm surprised the Phoenix Suns didn't find that out, and that's great bulletin board material.
Well, it happened on the actual filing date, according to the trademark office, was July 21st, which is the day they won.
Oh, okay.
But they had to have filed that beforehand to get that filing date.
So, okay. I guess if they lost, their next one would have been Bucks and 7, right?
Probably.
I guess so.
Well,
okay.
There's a little history behind the Bucks and 6 phrasing. It became a rallying cry when they first made the 2013 playoffs.
All right.
Former guard Brandon Jennings was going around yelling that before their playoff series.
I'm surprised that wasn't trademarked before.
Well, they got swept by the Miami Heat, so I think probably at that point they really didn't want that phrase out there. But
no one really cared, I guess.
Yep. But they kept doing the phrase Bucks and 6, Bucks and 6. June 22nd, Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers declared June 22nd as Bucks and 6 Day across Wisconsin.
All right.
Again, June 22nd, before they won the finals.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right.
So there was a little, I guess, predictions going on there. Subtle prediction.
Oh, wow.
So they had the Bucks and 6 Day announced before the finals even began. Or maybe during the finals, I should say. I can't remember the exact date of Game 1 of the finals. But Bucks and 6 Day was across Wisconsin on June 22nd. And the day they won the finals this year, July 21st, Bucks and 6 T-shirts were being offered on the website.
Well, good. I mean, hey, I guess they're gonna. I guess they should have no problem getting the trademark, right? I know they just filed, so it takes a little time to get the trademark. So
yeah,
they really shouldn't have a problem with it.
No,
so,
and I don't see anybody else.
Boy, that's pretty amazing, though. They were really
precognition.
Well, I guess they kind of had to do that. I always say in sports, it's better to file the trademark beforehand so it protects your rights. So I guess that's what they were doing.
I wonder, I got to take a look at the trademark office database to see if they actually filed anything regarding sweeps or 5 games or 7 games, that sort of thing. But, that was a little good foresight by the team there.
Very confident.
The other trademark I want to hit right now deals with some of the goings-on with the NCAA's name, image, and identity policy, the NIL.
All right.
Pitt football quarterback Kenny Pickett, he filed a trademark for his personal logo.
Well, I think you're going to see a lot of that from college kids nowadays.
I think you have to.
Just to protect themselves. Like I said before, they're going to protect themselves. If they're going to make money off their own name and their own talents, good for them. And this is a way to protect themselves.
Well, he filed his trademark. The design is his K and the number 8 mashed together with the blue and gold color scheme from the University of Pittsburgh. The Pitt Panthers.
All right.
It's the K and his number 8.
K8. So I'm assuming if he goes to the pros, if he get drafted by a pro team, he's going to ask for the number 8?
Probably to keep his brand alive.
No, hopefully he
depending
can get
upon the team he goes to and who's the quarterback at the time.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting.
Going to try for that number 8.
But again, he's a redshirt senior, and everyone's pointing to the fact that pretty quickly after he filed that trademark, he already got an endorsement deal.
Great. Hey.
He got a deal with the Oaklander Hotel in Pittsburgh, the restaurant inside the Oaklander Hotel, the Spirits and Tables.
All right. So what's this deal entail? I guess, will they be selling his shirts? Is that what we're talking about here?
It's an endorsement deal where he's endorsing the restaurant.
Oh, okay. He's kind of their spokesman kind of thing.
So they're assuming, everybody who saw this filing is assuming he's got other deals coming.
Oh, I would think so.
I would assume everybody's
Sure.
got deals coming. I know there's a high school quarterback looking at foregoing his senior year in high school to go to Ohio.
I wonder what the rule is. I mean, beyond sports. I mean, what's the acceptance policy of a college? I mean, can they accept someone that didn't get their high school diploma? I mean, is this kid going to do his GED so he can just get into college? Or how is this going to work? I'm very curious to see how this plays out.
I would assume it's up to the university, and then that university policy has got to be reviewed by the NCAA before anything.
It should be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd never heard of that before.
I always thought you needed a high school diploma or a GED to get into college.
I've heard of it for NBA.
Yeah.
For basketball players, that's when they need the GED to get into the college.
Yeah.
So maybe same policy is going to apply here.
Exit 4.
And last but not least for this week, we have a little cryptocurrency sponsor news roundup. We just did a trademark roundup. We're going to do some cryptocurrency roundup. The Cleveland Cavaliers, again, we're starting with a basketball story in this exit.
Sure.
Cleveland Cavaliers and Socios.com have announced an official team partnership to create brand awareness through the Cavaliers Global Asset Platform. Now, Socios.com, as everyone knows by now, is a cryptocurrency platform.
Yes.
Now, according to reports, this is for the upcoming 2021-2022 season. The logo for Socios will be displayed on the abdomen section of the Cavaliers practice jersey.
All right.
Now, the way the practice jersey is set up, it's the team name, then the player's number, and then you're going to see the Socios logo below it.
Okay, this is only for practice, right?
These are practice logos.
Okay.
Blockchain provider is also going to have in-venue signage.
I was going to ask that. I mean, I'm assuming I'm going to see their name when I tune into the Cleveland Cavaliers game.
Exactly. You're also going to see access. You're going to see Socios in their online apps and everything else.
Okay.
You're going to see them mentioned there. And also, in exchange for all that, the Cavaliers have given Socios rights to their marks and logos for marketing efforts, but outside the United States and Canada.
Okay.
So, it's another one of the cryptocurrency deals. This is the third NBA team that Socios has done a deal with.
Wow. Okay.
Cavaliers are the third. The Boston Celtics, the Socios is the presenting sponsor of their website, and the Sixers.
Okay.
So we're seeing more and more cryptocurrency deals in the NBA now. This is number 3. There's also a lot of NFT deals now for
non-fungible tokens. Yeah.
Can't have a discussion of cryptocurrency without bringing in NFTs now.
It's very interesting. I just got an email. As lawyers, we are offered. You have to keep your licensed up to date and things like that. So we're offered classes on the new breaking laws of everything, and one of those was the law and NFTs. So it's a big hot topic in the law community as well.
And rounding out our exit, we've got Stake.com and Watford FC Football Club, another soccer team. Multi-year principal partnership starting in 2021 season. The Stake.com is now the club's principal shirt sponsor as the team gets back into the Premier League. Watford was outside the Premier League for a while.
Well, the Premier League is the league for me. That's my most, when I think of soccer, that's the league I think of. But there are so many leagues out there for soccer.
Well, Watford is now back in.
Oh, they're back in. All right.
And Stake will be running crypto-themed initiatives. Now,
what does that mean?
Giveaways, activations.
All right.
They're doing a 10 million Dogecoin or Dogecoin or Dogcoin or however they phrase
Dogecoin.
They're doing a 10 million.
Dogecoin.
They're doing 10 million of those giveaway. On the international platform.
All right.
Also, you're going to see other promotions for the team as Stake launches their UK website, which is stake.co.uk. And it's kind of interesting because I saw a couple reports that this was all done in cryptocurrency. There was no actually dollars or euros involved in this.
Oh, okay.
So
Makes sense.
It's one of the first ones that is doing it that way, which is very unique in the industry right now. Usually there's some combination. But congratulations to both teams, the Cavaliers and Watford.
And today's trip down the Turnpike was brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using our promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
And as always, you can get in touch with Turnpike Sports by calling or texting us at 609-512-5910. That's 609-512-5910. At Turnpike Sports is the show's handle on Facebook and Twitter. At Turnpike Sports Radio is our handle on Instagram. And as always, our email address is info@turnpikesportsradio.com. And don't forget, you can listen to the show via Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes, radio.com mobile app, as well as Stitcher and YouTube. You can also watch us on your smart TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV. Head on over to turnpikesports.net. You'll be able to watch our video channel there.
We got a big show coming up. Of course, we're going to have the Turnpike Sports book report, and we're going to have a Beatin The House segment. But coming up next, I'm going to be talking with Brian Pempus from USBets.com and Better Collective. We're going to go through some of the big stories in the gambling industry this week. So stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
Is your bathroom looking old and worn out? Want to update it, but you don't know where to start? Then let BCI Bath & Shower show you how to turn that old bath into an aisle of beauty and functionality. Our residential bathroom solutions provide the best value on the market, and our customer service is second to none. Our cost-effective BCI Bath & Shower family of products has what you need.
Remodeling our bathroom was a big decision for us.
They didn't make a mess out of our house at all. And at the end of the day, we had a beautiful new bathroom. And it was a great experience the whole way through.
We have the best monthly payment programs in the industry, with payments as low as $68 per month or no interest, no payments for 18 months. For a limited time, be one of the first 100 callers who schedule a free in-home consultation and receive $500 off. Call 1-800-594-9530, 1-800-594-9530. Factory trained and certified installers made in the USA, and discounts for seniors and military. BCI Bath & Shower, the leader in affordable bathroom products.
Psst. Yeah, you. Come here. Haven't you heard? We don't need to hide anymore. Now, we can shop privately for adult products at adamandeve.com. They've got massage oils, lingerie, and lots more we can't mention here. Use the offer code SPICE404. They'll give you 50% off almost any one item, 3 free DVDs, free mystery gift, and free shipping. That's 50% off, free shipping, and more. Private shopping starts at adamandeve.com.
Today's trip down the Turnpike is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-297-9788. 800-297-9788.
Welcome back to Turnpike Sports. We are into the dog days of summer, but that doesn't mean news from the gambling world has slowed down. Some huge news has broken, especially from the world of poker. And as always, when we want to get to the latest news from the gambling industry, we turn to our returning guest who always knows what's going on from USBets.com and Better Collective. Brian Pempus is on the line with us right now. Brian, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Good morning.
You know, Brian, I'm sitting here in New Jersey enjoying the World Series of Poker Online Bracelet Series, but that's not even the biggest story about the WSOP this summer. One of the biggest stories is WSOP has gone live with their online poker site in Pennsylvania. For people in Pennsylvania who log on to the WSOP site, what can they expect to find there?
For right now, I mean, the traffic does seem to be a little bit muted because of what's going on elsewhere in the country with the states that have liquidity sharing with the online bracelet series. So a little bit of a slow start, it seems like, in Pennsylvania, but I mean, Pennsylvania is a major domino to fall for the online poker industry. Pennsylvania was pretty hesitant, to kind of start online poker with coming a little bit later than online casino and online sports betting. But it's a huge state, and once liquidity sharing with Pennsylvania kicks off between other states that have online poker, that's a massive thing to have happen. And we're talking about Michigan coming online here soon as well.
Yeah. Well, tell me about the online poker scene in Pennsylvania. Who are the platforms that are live right now in the state?
Yes, we got PokerStars, which was first. And, they kind of had a head start on the market. But, with there being no liquidity sharing in the state, I don't think everyone was, other rivals to PokerStars were, really rushing to get into PA. As we've seen with online poker since, for many years, since Black Friday a decade ago, liquidity sharing is really necessary. So PokerStars was first, and then you have BetMGM Poker, and now you have the World Series of Poker. So it's been a staggered kind of slow start for online poker in PA. But as liquidity sharing kind of appears on the horizon, I think you're gonna see a lot of activity pick up. And Michigan, I always compare Pennsylvania to Michigan because of they began online poker relatively quickly, actually.
I'm curious, how was the rollout for WSOP in Pennsylvania? I am scarred for life sitting here in New Jersey witnessing the rollout of online poker and online casinos years ago. I mean, there are problems with geolocation, problems with some of the banks. Were there any problems like that in Pennsylvania for the WSOP, or am I talking about problems that happened a generation ago and they're all worked out now?
I'm not really sure. I'm not on the ground in Pennsylvania. I haven't been using the sites there, but I don't believe a big issue with the traffic there has been those kind of things. But we've already seen that Pennsylvania's PokerStars' Pennsylvania platform has been really successful, or relatively successful in the early going. So it seems like people are able to access the sites and get their poker playing on without too much of a difficulty. But it really seems like the traffic, the limited traffic, is what's kind of preventing it from really taking off so far.
Now, Pennsylvania is a huge state. I mean, how important was it for WSOP to get into Pennsylvania? I mean, was that a key for WSOP?
Definitely. Although it wasn't, it wasn't something that was in any doubt, I would say. But definitely, a huge state for WSOP, and Pennsylvania was one of the states that was pretty conservative with its interpretation of the Wire Act, the federal interpretation of the Wire Act under over the past 4 or 5 years in terms of joining other states in liquidity sharing. Pennsylvania was very cautious. Nevada, New Jersey, and Delaware already had liquidity sharing for the WSOP platform. So, Pennsylvania, when the Wire Act, sort of came back into the throng of things, or became a little bit of an issue, Pennsylvania definitely kind of pumped the brakes on liquidity sharing. But with a new administration in Washington and a new DOJ kind of working with that, Pennsylvania is a huge state for WSOP to kind of add to the mix, and for other operators too, not just WSOP.
Now, you mentioned the Interstate Compact, which New Jersey, Nevada, and Delaware enjoys. It's a shared player pool. When does Pennsylvania have plans to join a compact? And when they do join a compact, when or if they do join the compact, what will that look like for Pennsylvania?
Timelines for this kind of thing are very, kept out of the public sort of eye, so to speak, by regulators. They definitely don't give a lot of information about the discussions and negotiations behind the scenes about this kind of thing. So we're kind of, regulators, if you talk to a regulator, regulators in Pennsylvania, they'll usually say, it's definitely something on the horizon, something to that nature, but it's very hard to get any sort of definitive timeline from regulators on this issue. I think it's just going to be a massive influx in traffic. You're going to have access to more cash games that are running around the clock. That's a huge thing. Online poker, is one of those things that people fire up, maybe for 30 minutes to an hour after they get off work. After working like a second shift or whatever, playing at all hours of the day. So really having that robust cash game scene, traffic to, have tables relatively filled throughout the course of the day is really important for bringing people online. So, online poker really needs that 24/7 sort of cash game action. And, tournament prize pools, the bigger the better. The bigger they grow, the more, money will be spent on advertising them too. So it's kind of like a snowball kind of effect. And I think it's really good when the prize pools can be, larger and guaranteed, and, it just brings more people on board. You see big numbers like 1 million, guaranteed prize pool, these bigger numbers, that we were really used to seeing back in the heyday of online poker, right? Once those can kind of start to return under, liquidity sharing with more states, I think you'll really see the game, start to grow and come back. I think we're getting there.
It's interesting. I mentioned here in July, we're recording this in July, New Jersey has their online bracelet events for the WSOP, and they announced in Pennsylvania the bracelet events will be in August. I mean, I know a lot of people who travel to New Jersey to play in the WSOP events, and they also told me that they're traveling to Pennsylvania to play in those events. I mean, this seemed to really work out well for the WSOP. Do you think that the WSOP will have these staggered bracelet events in the future? I mean, New Jersey 1 month and Pennsylvania the next month? Or do you think once Pennsylvania becomes part of an interstate compact, these online events will take place all at one time?
Yeah, I think they'll all take place at one time, especially for prestigious sort of branding events like a bracelet or a ring, an online ring or an online bracelet. I think there'll still be a Pennsylvania, maybe specific tournament. I think, having like a state champion of an online poker series, I think is always going to be good marketing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just to say a player is a champion of that online poker series for that state, I think is always going to be attractive. So I think you'll see that, definitely the big, nationally kind of, ones that kind of make sense branding wise nationally, more nationally will definitely be simultaneous, but I think you'll always have those state specific tournaments to really kind of get that going.
Now, as you mentioned, WSOP.com has plans to go live in another state, and that state is Michigan. What's the latest news coming out of Michigan? I mean, when can they expect to play on the WSOP there?
Yeah, so it's been rumored for quite a while now that it's going to come this summer, and that definitely jives with what we've seen. Michigan kicked off online poker relatively quickly, after in very short order after the other online gambling options. So I think the WSOP doesn't want to be too far behind its competitors there. The same competitors that it has in Michigan, PokerStars and BetMGM Poker. And I think if it doesn't come this summer, it's fluid. With online poker launches we've seen over the years, you can never really guarantee a launch is going to happen when it's expected. But I would definitely still expect it to happen this summer in Michigan. But if it doesn't, I'm not sure if the World Series of Poker would want to launch its online site in Michigan, during its live, flagship event in Las Vegas this fall. So maybe that would delay the Michigan launch to later in the year if it didn't happen this summer. But I still believe it'll happen this summer, and it'll probably be one of those things where it's like an announcement that kind of comes, it'll feel like it's coming out of the blue, but it's really not. So I think any day you could potentially hear an announcement about the World Series of Poker in Michigan, and hopefully that happens, and maybe give people a chance to qualify for live events out in Las Vegas this fall.
You mentioned the live version, and I know you've done some reporting on the WSOP in the past, and last year's live WSOP was canceled because of COVID. What do you think the players should expect from the live WSOP this year in Vegas?
Yeah, I think there's been a little bit of a renewed concern with the COVID variants out there. So I think you'll probably see, I think when it was first announced, the schedule earlier this year for the fall series, probably didn't really think a lot of people would be wearing a mask, but I would probably guess that there'll be plenty of mask wearing there, even people who are vaccinated, just to be safe. But I don't know if the World Series of Poker is going to require anything like that. I haven't heard that, and I doubt that. I think it's really hard to guess what kind of turnout they'll have. I imagine it'll be popular, maybe not all-time highs in terms of prize pools and participation, but they have 88 events scheduled, right? So it's going to be the biggest on paper, the biggest series they've had yet, right? So it's going to be they're going all in. To use a poker term, they're definitely going all in, and I think it's definitely it's nice to see a poker tournament held, the World Series of Poker held in Las Vegas, outside of the summer months, the dog days of summer when it's super hot in Las Vegas. So I think, you might see more people want to travel there and play, in September and October, into November because of the weather. It'll be cooler. That's sort of during football season, right? You'll have more people in town for NFL games, right? Betting on
absolutely.
NFL games from
Sports
California.
betting is going to be huge.
Yeah, sports betting. So I think overlapping with NFL is going to be a really, we haven't seen that. I can't even recall if way back in the day, with the World Series of Poker overlapping with football. But, this is definitely in the modern sort of era of online poker. This is sort of a first, seeing football and the World Series of Poker, sports betting with football overlap with the World Series of Poker. So I think it'll be a good thing. It'll be a really interesting thing to look at.
Moving on to another story, but still sticking with the world of poker. I'm in New Jersey now, but I have another law office located near Boston, and an issue arose where a couple of casinos in Massachusetts seem to be reluctant to bring back poker. Before we take on that issue, for people around the country who are not familiar with the Massachusetts gambling scene, can you tell us something about it? It's basically 3 casinos, right?
Yeah. So it's it's a relatively limited market, in terms of the gambling options in terms of casinos. But that the region as a whole definitely has plenty of gambling options. I don't live in that area. I don't really know the traffic issues there that well. But I know even traveling to a casino pretty close by could be quite a trip, right, with your car. Having those casinos in state where was a, when I was covering those, it was always, talking about, the convenience of having casinos close by so you didn't have to travel as far to play. I mean, the casinos there were highly anticipated, right? There was a kind of a long process to bring them to fruition. And, and the poker room, especially, covering the process of the bidding and all that for the casino near Boston. Poker was always kind of a major kind of theme to that. And not just because I cover poker and focus on that, but it seems like, generally, broadly, that poker room was very anticipated. So the one at the MGM casino, less so because it's not, near as big of a market, but the Encore poker room definitely was a big drawing factor that I kind of covered in the early days of that casino coming to fruition.
Well, the issue right now really involves two casinos, the MGM Springfield and the Encore Boston Harbor. What is their position when it comes to poker?
When it comes to live poker?
Live poker,
yeah. It's definitely I feel like we don't know everything what's being discussed behind the scenes. They talk about space for slots, but it's always kind of confused. It's always kind of like I always don't know for sure if you really needed to put slots in a poker room long term, if that really maximizes revenue for the gaming floor. If you could find some other way to put the slot machines in somewhere else. But I'm not sure exactly what they're dealing with in terms of social distancing still with through regulators. But it's they're saying a regulator at the meeting earlier this month said that he thought it was because of sports betting. They're waiting to see what's happening with sports betting. So I think maybe there's some concern that if there's no retail sports betting, the sports betting customer and the poker playing customer definitely overlap quite a bit. A lot of people who do one do the other. So maybe if the casinos can't have a retail sports book anytime soon, poker doesn't really make as much sense, especially if neighboring casinos elsewhere in the region have poker and sports betting sort of, in tandem and maybe even in close proximity to each other, on the gaming floor. That's a big disadvantage for those casinos, for the casinos in Massachusetts. So I think sports betting could be a big factor in all of this. And that's what a regulator said. So, they said they're waiting until the end of the year to decide about poker. So that's sort of maybe they're trying to put a little bit of subtle pressure on policymakers to get something done with sports betting this year. That could be a thing going on. The regulators have been apparently fielding a lot of complaints about the poker room not reopening, and that's really picked up this summer. So I think they're regulators are definitely aware of it and kind of looking at it, and so it might might have that effect in terms of being a part of the conversation for getting sports betting done, because that's poker and sports betting go hand in hand.
Yeah. I can tell you as a gaming attorney, poker is not the favorite topic of a lot of casino management across the country. A lot of people feel it takes up space. The overhead is high when you have to hire dealers and staff. I mean, I know casinos want people playing the slots, which account for like 88% of a casino's revenue. I've never been to the MGM Springfield room, but I was at the Encore Boston room, and I know a lot of people thought it was much too big to be profitable. I mean, for people who don't know, casinos use the equation that if you're going to take up so much space, you have to make the casino a certain amount of money. I mean, sometimes it gets a little more complicated than that, but that's basically the gist of it. Is a scaled-down room a possibility for these two sites?
It seems like it, yeah. I guess 74 tables for the Encore Boston Harbor, might have been a little bit bullish, maybe too bullish on live poker there. I mean, maybe if you have online poker in the mix in Massachusetts, then it'll make sense. People think of online poker and live poker being in competition with each other, but they really go hand in hand as well. Both grow at the same time. You have more people playing live poker if you have online poker. Maybe with, online poker available in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and, coming to Connecticut, maybe just a live poker room of that size doesn't really make a lot of sense. The they definitely tried to make it, state of the art, luxurious. Wynn is known for having really, well-made, state-of-the-art properties, right, in Las Vegas and elsewhere.
It's absolutely beautiful. Don't get me wrong. It's absolutely a gorgeous room, the Encore Boston. But wow, is it huge?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean they definitely MGM definitely, or not MGM. MGM. We're not the owner of the Encore Casino, but they opened up a really large room near DC, and that room seems like it's been successful, maybe more successful than the one that opened up outside Boston. So yeah, maybe it's the market. Maybe maybe they overshot. Maybe there's too much competition elsewhere. From casinos in Connecticut. I know it seems like from what I've seen online, the poker room at Foxwoods is doing pretty well. Back to being popular and all that. So maybe 74 tables was too small. I mean, it's really hard to imagine it not having a poker room. I don't have access to all the the numbers, the hard numbers that they've analyzed with their casino floor and its layout. But yeah, you would think that there'd be at least some poker going on. It's you definitely get people in the door with poker. Maybe one person in the family plays slots, the other person plays poker. So if you don't have poker, maybe the person that plays slots doesn't come in. That kind of thing. So it's I think a smaller room would definitely be the more likely option. It's hard, I think, with what we've seen so far. Maybe if they're sports betting, maybe if they get sports betting done, they'll not shave off too many tables from the poker room.
What has been the Massachusetts Gaming Commission's position on this issue? I mean, how much authority do they have to compel a casino to offer poker?
It doesn't seem like, from what I've gathered, much power. And I guess they could publicly kind of urge a casino to kind of really look at it hard and really not make any sort of willy-nilly decisions on it. Mm-hmm. But I think not that they would, but just kind of like show to the public that they're listening to the complaints and the feedback. I think the regulators definitely want to seem like they're listening to the feedback from the public, right, and customers in the state and all that. So I don't think that they can, like, if they could tell Encore Boston Harbor that they have to have their poker room. It was pitched in the early plans, and all that. But I think if it really doesn't make sense for the business, I think there's nothing the regulator can do about that.
I can tell you, I was talking to a lot of lawyers about this, and the legal community is looking at this situation very closely for the issue of how much power a gaming commission has toward a private company. I mean, if poker costs them profit, how will this not only affect the people of the state, but how will this affect the casino's shareholders? I mean, they have stockholders where they have a legal obligation to maximize the profit. Do you think this issue will continue? And do you think other states are looking at this and are saying, what, maybe our commission has limitations on what we have to tell a casino to do?
Yeah, I think I think that's really interesting. I think maybe if you really kind of were able to determine that it was being used as a bargaining chip for additional legislation, like it wasn't that poker wasn't feasible, like they could definitely do it, and it would still make financial sense to have it, but it was used as a bargaining chip for maybe additional expansion of gambling, like sports betting, like we talked about. Then maybe there's people take another look at that, because you don't want casinos anywhere really to be withholding anything that they had sort of promised the public when they were applying for the license, right?
Yeah.
To be kind of withheld as a bargaining chip for additional approval for gambling in other ways. So. Yeah, I think if that kind of is able to be distilled out of the equation and it's kind of more determined, if what the regulator said, the regulator with the MGC, saying that it was because of sports betting. Maybe if poker is not there in the equation next year, maybe they'll take another look at that. That's a really interesting question.
You raised it, and a lot of people are raising it. Are the casinos using sports betting as their leverage? Well, look, poker's not giving us a lot of profit, but sports betting will. Maybe we'll bring back poker, but let's see what sports betting is doing. Certainly the casinos can't come out and say it like that, but is that what's happening right now?
It kind of feels like that in this case, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's, I think, especially in a case like Massachusetts where sports betting is stalled, right, for a while. Getting the public engaged and contacting, their policymakers, their local representative, or the gaming commission, about their kind of unhappiness with kind of the state of the casino industry, right? Their general sort of displeasure with how things are, can put pressure on people. I think that can definitely be part of it, and it's hard to really say for sure, but that would make sense. I mean, Massachusetts kind of, the home of DraftKings. It's kind of remarkable, right, in a way that it doesn't have legal sports betting yet. So I know it's a complicated policy issue there, but it shouldn't be, right? It's kind of I would definitely have expected Massachusetts to have it, earlier. So I guess the pandemic situation with poker, we haven't really talked about this, but poker is a very, probably the worst game in the casino, right? For playing, operating during a pandemic.
It is, yeah. It's not conducive to that, yeah.
Right. So, you use the cover of COVID to kind of withhold poker, to kind of put pressure on state officials to kind of really tackle this gaming issue that's been lingering there, with sports betting and all that. So yeah, I think that is definitely a really very possible kind of behind the scenes kind of back and forth going on or dynamic.
Well, I want to get your opinion on something that I've talked to a lot of people about. In your opinion, is sports betting a real threat to the future of live poker? I mean, I've seen it in New Jersey where the Golden Nugget and Atlantic City moved their poker room to make room for their sports book. I think they moved it upstairs. I know Parks Casino in Pennsylvania opened up their sports book and moved their poker room. Look, even on this show, casinos who were advertisers on their poker operations asked if we can switch over to their sports betting commercials. So, I mean, is there a threat? I mean, no one's really saying sports betting is taking the place of live poker, but is it cutting down a casino's option on whether to offer sports betting and live poker?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think because of online sports betting being, sports betting, like the poker boom ended and now we're in a sports betting boom, right? So, you look at headlines, just like media coverage in general, sports betting versus poker, it's just sports betting is way bigger, way more popular just in terms of word of mouth, online conversation. So I think if once there's a real resurgence in poker with the online component in the mix, I think sports betting is not going to give that appearance of kind of pushing poker to the side. Yeah, I mean, definitely that's happening now for sure. But it makes sense. I mean, they're both very similar amenities, right?
Yeah.
And I think, in this quest to, acquire new customers for sports betting, if the casino had a choice between a person, sports betting or playing poker, maybe they spend a little bit less on sports betting, but, there's more, more to be gained by, that customer, through sports betting, right? With the popularity of it, the online, part of it in the mix too. So I think sports betting is definitely, definitely pushing poker to the side right now. But I think that's really because of the online component that you don't really probably, feel really is going on when you're, at the casino seeing these things, these changes. But I think the online situation is a big part of it.
Do you think the situation that's happening in Massachusetts could affect decisions around the country? Do you think a lot of casinos are looking at this and saying, you know what, poker's not really bringing in enough money for how much room it takes up in our casino, so let's see how Massachusetts deals with it, and then we can decide on our own what we can do with live poker. Do you think other states are looking at Massachusetts as a guide in this situation?
That's a good question. Yeah, perhaps. I mean, I know like there definitely are other states with poker rooms that are still closed. I believe there's a couple poker rooms in West Virginia that are still closed. You know, they have sports betting down there as well. Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I mean, Boston is a big city, right? So if another state doesn't really have a casino, maybe if their casinos aren't, you know, confined, I guess, to like, you know, the bigger cities, maybe that's a different dynamic where it's not as good of a comparison or kind of a good as good of a model to kind of look at with what's going on in Massachusetts. But I think that's definitely true to some extent as well. I think, yeah, I mean, I definitely, like I was saying before, I think I wrote in my article about this, like poker across the country, you know, there are poker rooms that haven't reopened, but Massachusetts definitely has the most high profile situation going on because of how popular those rooms were kind of billed as, right? Were kind of expected to be, and definitely the public sort of backlash to those rooms not reopening. So I think it could be a little bit of an industry sort of the industry sort of looking at that situation probably as a bit of a guide. But as we were, you know, talking about, it could be maybe more unique though with the sports betting, you know, issue going on behind the scenes. Maybe it's not as relevant for other states that have, you know, online sports betting and all that going on already.
For Massachusetts, give us a time frame when you think this issue will be decided.
I'm going to be optimistic and say this year, but, you know, it's hard to say. You know, it's one of those things where it's like some states will seem like they're dormant and then, you know, all of a sudden the ball will, you know, get rolling real fast. I mean, Ohio is sort of like that too, where it's like, you know, it's been kind of teased, and then maybe just all of a sudden this fall, you know, when they start working on it again, it'll just, you know, pass, and that'll be it, and the ball will be, you know, the ball will be rolling. So yeah, I would say this year or next year. I hate to be bad at handicapping, you know, this kind of thing, but I think, you know. And maybe we'll look back and, you know, say this poker situation, the live poker situation in Massachusetts was really kind of a good thing to kind of, you know, push the policy change. So maybe it'll work out in the end. Maybe by January we'll be really happy with everything.
And speaking of sports betting, a huge sporting event is coming up, and that's the Olympics. That's something I've never bet on, but according to the American Gaming Association, a lot of people will be betting on it. A report just came out from the AGA revealing very interesting things about betting on the Olympics. What did that report reveal?
I think the headline number was 20.1 million people will bet on the Olympics, which yeah, seems like a good number. You know, the Olympics are kind of a fringe betting activity, right? Even Las Vegas had a lot of sort of restrictions on it. Was sort of kind of flirting with it, not really all in on Olympic betting. You know, before 2018, before the big Supreme Court ruling that opened up the floodgates for other states legalizing sports betting. So Nevada was always sort of like not super into it. It wasn't like ever a big money maker out there either. But you know, 20.1 million people definitely kind of shows that it's on the minds of people. You know, the AGA said that 47.4 million people were betting on March Madness earlier this year. So, you know, the Olympics are less than half of that, which, you know, you would think maybe, you know, a world, you know, an event that happens every 4 years that involves athletes all over the world with so many events would have more handle relative to March Madness. But, you know, March Madness is a powerhouse sort of sporting event. So I think, you know, 20.1 million people betting on the Olympics compared to nearly 50 million for March Madness. Definitely, I think it seems like, you know, like a number you would kind of expect. And that's, you know, that's a good amount. I think what I really found interesting from that survey was the AJ found that nearly half of people are going to be betting casually with their friends, which kind of reduces the appeal of that 20.1 million bettors, right? That includes a lot of people that are not going to be betting through a regulated book, betting with their friends at a bar on a game or a track race, and I think that really sort of highlights these efforts by DraftKings, WynnBET, other companies to really try to capture that peer-to-peer wagering dynamic, right? Like a social peer-to-peer wagering interest out there. If half of people are going to be betting with a friend rather than opening up an app to bet on the Olympics, I think that shows the innovation. Another piece of evidence showing the innovation that's probably going to be coming with trying to make sports betting online, more social, so to speak.
We don't have a lot of time, but I certainly want to ask you about a very sad story coming out of the poker world. 6-time WSOP bracelet winner Layne Flack has passed away at age 52. Now, you've done a lot of reporting in the poker industry. Can you tell us a little bit about Layne and what his passing means to the poker world?
Yeah, so Layne was a 6 bracelets in your career, that puts him near the top of the all-time leaderboard. I mean, bracelets are still the most prestigious prize in poker, even though we're, a ways out from the poker boom of roughly a decade ago, a little bit more than a decade ago. His bracelet tally that he accumulated will be impressive for quite a while until, he keeps falling down the list. But that won't be happening anytime soon because, bracelets are pretty hard to win. So his 6 bracelets are going to, keep him as a poker, legend, for a long time. I mean, I think he'll always remain like a kind of an OG, type player. He was probably at his peak in the late 90s and when he won back-to-back bracelets in 2002. He was regarded as a really top player in the late 90s, and I guess that he fell off that a little bit, during the early part of the poker boom from, 2003 to, 2007, so to speak. And, but then he won a big bracelet in 2018 for nearly $600,000. He won a PLO event, with a lot of players, poker, the tournaments had exploded by then in terms of, prize pools and turnout. So when he won that PLO event in 2008, that proved that he was still a very relevant, dominant, skilled player. And I mean, but even up until just a couple of years ago, he was still cashing in events. In 2019 at the World Series, the year before COVID, he finished 20th out of nearly 6,000 entries in the 1K seniors event. So I mean, he still had his game. That a deep run in that kind of tournament of that size is very impressive. So he still was a very skilled poker player up until the end. He finished 140th on the U.S. all-time money list. At one point, he was 25th on the all-time money list. Years ago, before tournament prize pools really exploded. So I mean, at his peak, at the top of his game, he was definitely one of the best players in the world, at least for tournaments. But I would say like the stylistic part of his game that really is memorable is how kind of quickly he played. He was a very fast player, very talkative, very friendly, and he would play very fast. And Eric Lindgren, another well-known poker player, tweeted the other day after Layne passed away that Layne didn't just win WSOP events. He took pride in having the winner photo taken before sun went down. So he definitely was trying to get out of there quick. He didn't want to linger and grind it out, right? So he was a fast, talkative player, and I think he'll be remembered for that. It was one sad thing about another sad thing about this whole story is that he in April he tweeted, Layne Flack tweeted that he was sad that his old friend Gavin Smith, who passed away a couple years ago, another well-known poker player during the poker boom years, had passed away, and Gavin wouldn't be at the World Series of Poker this fall with Layne.
Wow.
And Layne ended up passing away too before the series rolled around this fall. So definitely an unexpected death, and he'll definitely be missed. But his bracelet tally, like I said, will be hard. It's hard to win a bracelet, and having six of them will definitely keep him, kind of a big name in poker for a long time, I would say.
Absolutely. Brian, we're running out of time, but can you give out your website or your social media address so people can keep up to what you're doing and check out your articles?
Sure. So I write for usbets.com primarily, and my handle is at Brian Pempus on Twitter.
Brian Pempus from usbets.com and Better Collective, thanks so much for coming back on and giving us an update about what's going on in the gambling world. You always give us some great information, so please come back soon and keep us filled in on the gambling industry.
Thanks for having me. Anytime.
Stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports. We'll get back to the show in a few moments, but I just wanted to take some time and tell everyone about Bean Genius, the smart specialty coffee subscription service. Bean Genius sells freshly roasted coffee from some of the best independent coffee roasters in the country. They feature over 2,000 specialty coffee blends, all at your fingertips at beangenius.com. Here's how it works. Head on over to beangenius.com and take their palate profiler test to find out what coffee best fits your taste. Then select from a variety of subscription plans. Every subscription comes with free shipping, and delivery can even be scheduled for once or twice each month. And based upon your review of each coffee blend you try, Bean Genius actually learns your individual taste preferences and then suggests future coffee blends for you. And now you can get 10% off your Bean Genius subscription when you use our promo code PIKE at checkout. Bean Genius offers a variety of subscription plans to suit any coffee lover's needs. Subscribe with Bean Genius today and start enjoying some of the best tasting coffee around. And save 10% off your coffee plan with promo code PIKE.
Attention seniors with Medicare. This is an important announcement. Did you know you may qualify for a monthly Social Security rebate? Did you know you may qualify for a $0 monthly premium? That's right. You may qualify to get $135 added back to your Social Security check each month. Just call the Medicare benefits line to get your options. It's a free call. You may also qualify for $0 premiums, dental coverage, vision coverage, hearing coverage, and prescription drug coverage. With this type of plan, you don't need Medicare supplement insurance. Call now because you deserve to get the most from your Medicare benefits, including a rebate to your Social Security check each month. Agents are standing by with free information regarding Medicare benefits. It's a free call with no obligation, but it could mean big savings for you. Call the Medicare benefits line now to see if you're eligible for a Social Security rebate.
Call 800-574-6770. 800-574-6770.
Psst. Yeah, you. Come here. Haven't you heard? We don't need to hide anymore. Now, we can shop privately for adult products at adamandeve.com. They've got massage oils, lingerie, and lots more we can't mention here. Use offer code SPICE404. They'll give you 50% off almost any one item, 3 free DVDs, free mystery gift, and free shipping. That's 50% off, free shipping, and more. Private shopping starts.
It's a casino. People gotta win sometime.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a giant, colorful check to deposit.
Beatin The House is brought to you by BetMGM Casino. Play your favorite casino games at BetMGM Online Casino. Slots, table games, live dealer games, everything you love about Atlantic City and Vegas, all online at BetMGM. Don't wait. Join in the fun now. Go to BetMGM Casino, create an account using our promo code Turnpike, and become a verified player. New players get $25 free when signing up, plus a first deposit bonus up to $1,000. That's promo code Turnpike at BetMGM.com for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus $25 free. Grab a lion's share of the fun at BetMGM.com. Must be 21 years or older to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And welcome to another edition of Beatin The House, where we actually celebrate the winners of the slots, the table games, the whatever other game you offer in a casino. If somebody's won it, we're going to talk about it.
I think it's great when people actually take money away from the casino, and this is their time to shine. So, I love this segment.
One of the things I've been noticing about since we started this segment, I've been learning so many different types of casino games out there. And not just in terms of what table games are out there, but also the different types of slot machines.
That's my thing, man. When you tell me when someone hits on a slot, I actually write down the slot machine because, number one, when I'm in the casino, I'm going to look for it. Number two, when I'm online and checking out the different online slots, I try and take a look for these things.
You know, I got to start incorporating that a little bit more into this segment in terms of getting the online casino jackpots. We don't talk about too many of them because there's a lot of actual brick and mortar casino jackpots that are happening now.
Sure.
And this week's no different.
You know, a lot of casinos Facebook their things. You know, you have. I saw one yesterday. Someone was holding the big check. You know.
Well, everyone loves that big check.
Love the big check.
Well,
they get to keep that, right?
They get. I don't know.
I mean,
what
do you do with
name
it?
Is on it.
I mean, what do they do with it? I mean, can you? I guess you can frame anything. I wonder how much it costs to frame those things.
Do you take it to a big bank and cash it?
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. But no, their names are always on it.
Yeah,
it has, actually, some of them have actually the name of the game that you won it on and all
that. Really?
So,
okay.
So maybe it's a souvenir that they get, when they do get these jackpots. But this week we've got a couple to talk about. We've got two slot jackpots, a bad beat jackpot,
okay, a
table game jackpot, and our first Keno jackpot.
Keno, all right.
Now, the only thing I know really about Keno is it's something to play when I'm waiting for my beer at the bar. When I go up into Massachusetts. Massachusetts is fun in terms of Keno. Keno's everywhere up there.
Keno's in restaurants and bars up in Massachusetts.
It's also in the mall.
Sure, yeah, no, people actually play Keno in the mall. They buy their Keno tickets, walk around, go shopping, come back and check if they won.
There's actually one mall that I don't know if they still have it or not, but they used to have the Keno system in the middle of the mall at a kiosk, and then they had couches sitting around all the TVs showing the different Keno games.
Really? Okay.
So it was actually almost like a little mini Keno casino inside a actual mall. And I'm not talking about an outdoor mall. I'm talking about an indoor mall, just like you grew up on in the 80s. But we're going off the tangent here again. So
we went off the rails on that one.
Let's start talking about what the winners are here. We're going first to French Lick, Indiana.
The hometown of Larry Bird.
Well, French Lick, Indiana is also the home to French Lick Casino. And French Lick Casino just experienced a winning jackpot of almost $700,000.
Wow, okay.
$690,623 was won this past Sunday night to a local resident. It wasn't a visitor from out of town. It was a Southern Indiana resident.
You always love to see the regulars win, so that's always great.
It was a French Lick Rewards card holder, so they've been to the casino many times. They're a regular there. They won the progressive jackpot by playing the Dean Martin's Wild Party slot machine.
I think I've seen that in casinos.
I've seen it in a few casinos. I've never played it. I guess now I got to try it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm going to sit down at it next time I see it.
$690,000 on a $1 bet.
$1 bet. Oh, wow. Okay.
This was the largest payout by far in French Lick Casino's 16-year history.
All right.
The previous jackpot was $265,000, which is about half of what the person won.
Boy, that jackpot blew by that the previous record.
That was
even close.
That was in 2013. So it's been 8 years since the last big jackpot at that casino.
What do you do after that? I mean,
I go home.
Oh my God! It's just one of those things where you just want a huge jackpot. You just on $1 bet. I mean, what do? You go have dinner, drinks? Does the casino do anything for you? I mean, other than give you the $690,000
and the press.
And the press, and do they give you a burger and a drink or champagne, or what happens?
I've never won a jackpot, so I don't know exactly what happens. If once I win, I will tell you about that. But the previous Wild Party jackpot was $256,000.
Yeah.
So congratulations, $700,000 winner.
Yeah. Wow. Dean Martin's Wild Party slot machine. Okay, I've got to write that down. So I'm going to check that out.
Moving over to Southern California at the Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. A Morongo slots player won $371,000 after doing a $1.50 bet.
Wow, boy.
Now, we had a story last week about a guy who was at the one of the New York casinos, and he had a stranger come up and say, play the slot machine.
Oh, yeah.
Guardian angel kind of deal.
Okay, yeah.
This one is actually another feel-good story here. This was a cancer survivor.
Great. Okay, great. I'm glad he won the jackpot.
He just received his notice from the doctor that he was cancer-free, or all clear was what he said in the press release. After several months of chemotherapy, the guy's son asked him where he wanted to celebrate, and he said he wanted to go to Morongo.
Wow, that's great. What a great story.
He started to play.
Good for him. All-around good day for him, huh?
He was playing the Wheel of Fortune slot. That one always pays out.
But there's a lot of great stories about the Wheel of Fortune slot. So
he played it for 10 minutes, and he won $371,689 off a $1.50 bet.
Great. Good for him.
I'll be honest with you. Wheel of Fortune, I think almost every week we've had a Wheel of Fortune slot story.
You know, the other, there's Wheel of Fortune online, but the other good one online is Divine Fortune.
Well, that's a progressive, too.
That's always a great moneymaker for people.
Well, you got to remember, every single one of these slot machines, whether they're retail or online, there are always different versions of it.
Yeah.
And the Wheel of Fortune Progressive, this was in the brick and mortar, and there are also about maybe 4 or 5 variations online of the Wheel of Fortune.
That's what I was going to say. There's about 4 or 5 Wheel of Fortune, like, different games you can play.
I guess I got to try Wheel of Fortune now, too.
I haven't played it in a while, so I got to try it.
Going over to table games, we're over in the Orleans in Vegas. A local player won $119,663 at a progressive jackpot at Face Up Pai Gow Poker.
There's too many variations of these poker games, like 3-card poker, Caribbean poker, Pai Gow poker. I don't play any of them. I don't understand them. I'm sure they're easy games to figure out. I just don't take the time to go up there and do them.
Well, I've never heard of Face Up Pai Gow Poker. That must be a brand new variation.
Knows?
But the player who has requested to remain anonymous hit a 7-card straight flush with a joker.
Okay.
Now, I guess Pai Gow is one of those few games that actually utilize the joker.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's why I don't play Pai Gow.
If
the Joker's involved, I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
I actually got to try Pai Gow because it looks complicated, but it also looks fun.
I have a ton of books on different gambling games. I'm sure Pai Gow Poker is in there. I'll read up on it.
And to top it all off, not only did he win just under $120,000, he also played the Dragon Bonus side bet, and he won $5,000 more.
See, I don't even know what the hell that means. It sounds like a great thing to do, but I just don't know what it means. I really got to read up on this stuff.
There's so many different side bets in the not only is it there variations in the games, there's variation in the side bets too. And I think every casino has different ones. So, this guy $125,000 overall. That was a good night. Let's do the bad beat jackpot for the week here.
All right,
going over to the Santa Fe Stations Casino. Now, Stations Casino always has a great bad beat jackpot system.
I was one of the last hotels I stayed in Vegas. I can't remember where exactly was.
That was the Stations Casino.
Stations Casino.
That was the main one.
That was the main one. All right.
This is the Santa Fe Station in Northwest Vegas.
All right.
The Stations Casino's Jumbo Hold'em Poker Bad Beat Progressive. They hit on July 21st. Total payout to players was $225,571.
Okay.
Losing hand was Quad Jacks. That's the one who won the bad beat jackpot. The winning hand was a jack-high straight flush. So the winning hand, which is technically the loser in the bad beat jackpot, beat the 4 jacks with a jack-high straight flush. The winning hand won $22,552. That's the jack-high straight flush.
Okay.
The losing hand, which is actually the winning hand in the bad beat jackpots here, won $33,827. Now, again, the total payout to all the players was $225,000. Why is it so high? Well, all the players at the table won $1,400 each at that specific table.
Okay.
All poker guests across all the station's casino poker rooms won money.
So you can be at a different location in a station's casino, and because this guy won the
as
bad
long
beat,
as you're in a station's casino and the bad beat progressive jackpot hits.
So you don't even have to be in the same casino to win some money. All right.
$1,100 each. Everybody playing poker at that time.
Wow.
In any station's casino poker room, they won $1,100.
How was that announced? I would love to hear that. I mean, you're sitting in the poker room and
it's over the loudspeaker.
I guess so. You know, is it like everyone remain in your seat because we have to tell you got $1,100?
Well, I guess they stopped playing.
I have no idea.
Well, congratulations to everybody at the Santa Fe Casino and everybody playing at the station's casinos.
Yeah, right.
So, and last but not least, like I said, we have a Keno jackpot to talk about.
A Keno jackpot.
A 10-spot Keno jackpot was won when a local player at the Boulder Station Casino won $63,820 on a 20-cent wager.
Boy, what a big week for station casinos, huh?
It's amazing the way the different winning different games people win at these casinos, and stations are all over the place in terms of Nevada.
So this guy in Keno, he won over $63,000 on a 20-cent bet. Is that what I'm saying here?
A 20-cent bet, a 20-cent bet on a 10-spot.
Okay.
You know, you pick 10 numbers.
Yeah, I got that part.
Yeah.
But
So,
wow. Jeez.
Now, I don't know I guess because Keno is only in casinos in Nevada too, or is that everywhere? I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, did he have to be inside the casino itself instead of just in the property?
I mean, I can tell you in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, you can't play casinos.
Most states are
you can't,
like that.
You can't play Keno outside of a gaming floor, outside of a casino. But,
a lot of states are like that.
Yeah, no.
So, but congratulations to all our winners this week. Casinos, sports books, online or retail. If you have any news about jackpots for your players, let us know. info@turnpikesportsradio.com, and we will include them in an upcoming episode of Beatin The House.
The book report's next, so stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
Now that we're home more than ever, we need to feel safe. Call it a sign of the times or the world we now live in. What do you want to keep safe? The people in your life? What do you want to protect? Your possessions, the things that belong to you, the things that you've worked hard for. Wouldn't it be nice to have tested, trusted 24/7 protection? Peace of mind, real protection that's always there for you and your whole family? Well, now you can with one of our state-of-the-art home security systems. Everyone thinks their home is safe until the unexpected happens. Help protect your home and loved ones today with the affordable next generation in home security. To help keep your family and property safe, call 1-800-520-4068 now. Representatives are standing by to assist you. That's 1-800-250-4068. 1-800-520-4068.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good. but always be prepared for life's challenges. If your employer doesn't supply health care coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private health care is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. To get the coverage you need, call the number on the screen now.
Turnpike Sports Book Report.
The Turnpike Sports Book Report is brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casino is now your favorite sportsbook. Available anywhere in New Jersey, BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE, that's P-I-K-E. Make your first wager of $20 or more and you'll get $100 in free bets. That's $100 in free bets when your first wager on Borgata Sports is $20 or more. Get into the action with BorgataSports.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And welcome to another edition of the Book Report, where we go through the news and notes from the sports books around the country. Now, it could be sports betting numbers in terms of revenue and handle, news with regards to legislation, launches, deals, and we've got a whole bunch of things to run down this week. We got some state and national numbers to talk about. We've got a couple launches, especially one very interesting one in Washington, D.C. We've got legislation, Massachusetts, Arizona, Oregon, and even a bunch of deals. We have a deal that involves Tipico for the first time.
Yeah, they're in New Jersey, but they're one of those sports books you don't hear a lot about.
Well, they're a German sports book, so they just did a major deal. But before we get to some of the deals, let's hit some of the numbers.
Okay.
We had Nevada, Rhode Island, Colorado, and Tennessee for this week report their numbers. In terms of handle, 3 states went up, 1 state went down.
Okay.
We're going to hit, let's go to Nevada first. They had a June handle of $545 million. That's up 14% from May. Online handle of $314 million, which was up about 5.5%. Or 57.6% of the total handle.
Okay.
The interesting number about the percentage of the online handle is the fact that May was 62.4% in terms of the percentage of online handle to the total handle, and then 64.8 in April. So they're having slowly decreasing online handle numbers.
Well, more and more people are going to the actual physical sports books. You know, it's certainly a summertime and vacation destination in Las Vegas. So, you know, they're having that go. That's affecting the numbers.
Well, I think you also got to look at, I think McCarran International Airport reported a huge increase in the tourist numbers. Flight numbers coming in, passengers.
Certainly, that's what's going on, and it's open, and people are going back into the casinos and sports books. I think they have a mask mandate now for people inside, so I guess you got to mask up again. So, but still, people are in there, and people, are traveling from around the country. Usually, it's from places that don't have sports betting, and they're trying their hand at sports betting in the sports books.
Yep. And also, this is the 18th time in the post-PASPA era that Nevada has cleared $500 million in monthly handle.
Great.
The most of any state. New Jersey is second with 14 times.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the 20th time Nevada cleared $25 million in revenue. They had a revenue in June of $29.2 million. So it's the 20th time they've cleared $25 million in revenue. Most of any state as well. Jersey's right there with them at 18.
Okay.
So it's always Nevada, New Jersey, 1, 2.
Okay.
Or whichever way you want to look at it, monthly, yearly, however. It's always those 2 states now. Rhode Island, the interesting thing here, the fiscal year numbers that they released as well as their June numbers, they had a total handle of fiscal year 2020 to 2021 of just under $353 million. That's up 76% from the previous fiscal year. That's COVID numbers.
Sure.
You're comparing
Absolutely.
it to.
It should be up. So.
Online handle was up 270%.
Okay.
184 million this fiscal year compared to fiscal year 2019-20, which was 49.8 million.
You got to remember something about Rhode Island and also about New Hampshire. They're really the only states in New England that have sports betting. So, if people are in Massachusetts and they want to place a bet on something, they either have to go to Rhode Island or they have to go to New Hampshire. And, I don't think Maine is going to have sports betting anytime soon.
Maine shelved it.
Yeah, I don't think Vermont is even looking at it. You're going to have Connecticut coming up with sports betting.
Well,
so
we'll talk about Connecticut in a little bit.
It'd be very interesting to see the numbers with regard to Rhode Island as Connecticut goes online.
And we'll see what happens in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Let's see, Colorado. Colorado is becoming a famous destination for table tennis betting.
Yes, if you like table tennis, you want to get to Colorado to place a bet on it. Is it still number 6? I know it was number 6 last month. The number 6 sport bet on.
Well, it held on to that spot.
Okay, all
6
right.
is the 6th top sport. If you want to look at it, and depends on how you report these numbers, because if you're reporting categories, parlays were higher than table tennis. If the top 5 categories: basketball 74.8 million in handle, baseball 54.5. Here's where parlays come in. Parlays were 3rd with 33.9 million. I don't consider that a sport. So,
no.
It's the top 5: basketball, baseball. Then you have soccer and tennis, and then hockey was 6th as in terms of listings. But soccer, tennis, and hockey rounded up the top 5 sports.
Okay.
Hockey had 10.7 million. Table tennis was 6th with 8.678 million.
Okay.
They were 3.8% of the total handle of the June numbers for Colorado. Also, one of the more interesting things regarding Colorado, compared to the mixed markets out there between that have retail and online, they have the highest percentage of bets placed on mobile. I think it was 98.8% of the total handle was done mobile in Colorado.
This is Colorado, huh?
That's
wow.
Colorado.
Wow, boy.
Very, very unique situation there,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of the hotels have started just reopening and everything. So I think you're going to see maybe a little bit of decline. I don't know if a total decline, but 98.8%, that's almost nearly 100%. That's almost like an online-only market.
Well, look, I mean, there's nothing like betting online and in your home, laying down on your couch with either your tablet or your cell phone in your hand and watching a game and throwing a bet on it and not even getting up off the couch.
Well,
that's a great thing.
Speaking of online-only markets,
yes,
Tennessee, they're averaging still around 170 million in handle every month. This is the first double-digit hold since launching last November. They had a hold of 10.49%. They hit that legislative hold number.
Okay.
First time since they did that in November of 2020.
Yeah, by law, they're supposed to have, 10% hold?
10% or more. And when they don't hit that 10%, there's some kind of economic adjustment the books have to do with their numbers. I think they have like another period to actually get above the 10%,
right.
Or they get a penalty.
Well, this time they actually achieved it with 10.49%.
Like I said, first double-digit hold since launching last November. Tennessee also became the 9th state with legalized sports betting to clear $1 billion in handle in the 2021 calendar year. So between January and June, they cleared $1 billion in handle.
Wow, that's only 6 months. That's only half a year.
But that's 9 states, though.
Yeah.
That's an incredible number to look at there. And
so if there's any state debating whether to allow sports betting, you can see these numbers coming in, and sports betting does wonders for your state.
One other little news and note here from Tennessee. Tennessee's average bet per citizen was $161.27.
I mean,
that's per person in the state of Tennessee.
I mean,
that's not assuming everybody bet.
Well, that's not one bet though.
That's the average of per citizen wagered in the month.
Okay.
All right. That's how it broke down. And it's slightly higher than Virginia. They're the other online-only state. $155.47. So Tennessee was slightly above them in terms of the first 6 months of the year.
Okay.
So kind of little interesting numbers there. Now, we just had just about everybody report their sports betting handle and revenue numbers for the month of June. Everybody except Illinois right now.
Illinois is always behind.
Yeah, it's always 60 to 90 days behind. Without Illinois, the June national state revenue tax is at $41.34 million. That's the most tax collected. Is the sixth highest tax collected in the post-PASPA era.
Okay.
So
this is national. This is how much taxes was collected from sports betting.
The U.S. sports betting industry
get.
has generated taxes of $41.34 million. That's without Illinois reporting. And, we'll see exactly what Illinois brings in terms of taxes. I think what they shoot for always is seeing if they get to $50 million. That's always the record.
Again, like I said, if there's any state wondering if they could benefit from sports betting, you see those tax revenue numbers, and your state will certainly profit from sports betting.
Well, let's talk a little bit about these states coming up here. Connecticut. There was a report out there that FanDuel and DraftKings may not be able to launch at the start of football season.
Really? Oh, boy.
It all has to do with the compact.
Okay. This is the compact between the Native American tribe and the state of Connecticut.
The Mohegan tribe and the Mashantucket Pequot tribe. They did their deals with FanDuel and DraftKings. The Department of Interior just received the compacts. So they have a 45-day window to review the compacts and approve them. They can do it quicker than that.
I mean, so they're not going to rush through it. I mean, if you're looking at red tape, I guess you're not really banking on them starting by the NFL season. But who knows? I mean, maybe they have Department of Interior has a free afternoon that they can take a look at the compacts and approve it. So,
well, the 45-day window.
Let's hope.
The 45-day window ends September 10th.
All right.
First day of NFL season is September 9th.
Ooh, okay.
So there's a chance they can still get it launched, but the problem is once they're approved, the compact is not officially recognized until it's published in the Federal Registrar.
But can they start betting before they're placed in the Federal Registrar? Oh, okay.
No, see, that's the problem. And also, it all really depends on when they're published in the Federal Registrar, because it could take several days, up to a week after the Department of Interior approves the compact.
Well, maybe they'll get it done in August, and they'll put it in the Federal Registrar by late August, and betting will occur. Because I know there's some temporary things that they're setting up, especially in Mohegan Sun, right? I think I did a news story.
They're
on that
planning on a temporary book in September.
Yeah, and then a permanent book later on in the year, and possibly in the winter and early next year.
Well, whether or not they're going to be able to take bets is going to be an interesting issue. As opposed to two states that are moving very fast, Arizona. Arizona released their approved sports betting rules, and they also have now a timeline that they're going to be following. Qualified applicants can apply August 16th. Marketing account creation and app downloads are allowed to begin August 28th.
Wow.
Sportsbook set to launch September 9th, which is the first day of the NFL season.
Wow. They know what they're doing.
Yep, they're moving right along. They've gotten sportsbook deals already announced between DraftKings, FanDuel, Barstool, WynnBET, PointsBet, Unibet, Ballybet, Caesars. All have sportsbook deals in the state already.
That's going to be a huge market.
It's going to be a fun market to watch.
Arizona is going to be a great sports betting market.
And they also confirmed that daily fantasy operators can launch on August 28th.
Wow, look at that.
So they are going full board.
What a fall Arizona is going to have.
That's going to be a fun state to watch, especially during the football season, to see exactly where they go with all this stuff. As opposed to Massachusetts.
Massachusetts doesn't even have poker.
No.
They don't even have legal poker.
They pushed that off.
If you listen to the interview with Brian Pempus, you can see that the two casinos that were offering poker have not opened up their poker operations yet, or reopened up their poker operations yet. So, and I guess they're going to make a decision at the end of the year. So
well,
stay tuned for Massachusetts.
No, Massachusetts Senate in terms of sports betting.
Oh, well, I'm talking about poker.
Poker is,
at the end of the year. They'll make their decision at the end of the year. Now on to sports betting.
You hope poker is at the end of the year.
Well, who knows? But now you moved on to sports betting.
Yeah.
What's Massachusetts doing with sports
they
betting?
just had the House pass the sports betting bill. I think the number I got in my notes, 156-3. The House passed the sports betting bill. Now, the next step is the Senate, and the Senate's always been the problem for sports betting in Massachusetts.
I don't even think it's on the schedule for the Senate to even
they
talk
have
about.
not even decided when they're going to take up the sports betting bill.
Well.
They haven't even decided what sports betting bill they're going to discuss, because there's two of them. There's the House bill, which is actually a great sports betting plan, and then you have the Senate bill. Senate Bill 269. It's a very interesting bill because it does a lot of limiting. And
that's what laws do.
Yeah. It sets a cap to 6 online licenses as opposed to the untethered one in the House bill. And the other thing I noticed, which was really, really odd, they want to license the data firms. They want to require official data be used by the sports books, but the data firms have to be licensed by the state.
That's the proposed Senate bill, but the one that passed in the House, they don't have that provision.
No, they don't
right?
have that at all.
Okay.
And also the Senate bill restricts...
House bill is very good. I like the House bill.
The Senate bill prohibits college betting.
That's weird. That's interesting.
That's a total restriction.
Kind of ridiculous.
One other little news and notes legislation-wise, I guess this falls under legislation-wise, Oregon. As everyone knows, the Oregon sports betting industry is run by the Scoreboard app. Now, Oregon Lottery has been trying to decide whether to keep it or move on to a different platform, and it looks like they may have been in discussions with DraftKings about this for a while because DraftKings ended all their daily fantasy sports operations in Oregon.
Because wasn't in Oregon, they were saying there was a question whether fantasy sports was legal.
There's a legality question
wasn't
there.
That the whole thing in
and
Oregon?
I think DraftKings is in such a position right now to get the sports betting market like they do in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
That they stopped DFS, Daily Fantasy Sports, in the state, and they're going to focus on working out a deal with the Oregon Lottery to control the sports betting industry there.
Okay. All right.
And FanDuel, never one to miss a beat, announced that they will continue with their fantasy sports.
Okay.
So,
we'll see what happens.
Fantasy sports people, if you can't get to DraftKings, you also have the option for FanDuel.
That's for people in Oregon.
Yep. Now, let's talk about Washington, D.C.
This is very interesting. I like this.
I actually am very curious to see how this is received by the general public in the district. I think it's great news in terms of the industry itself, but whether or not the residents of the district actually like it or not, we'll see what happens. The D.C. Lottery announced that 4 sports betting kiosks have been placed in bars and restaurants in the district.
That's great.
Four locations will have sports betting kiosks on the premises. And they list them out. Ben's next door on U Street, Lou's City Bar on Irving Street Northwest, Dirty Water Sports Bar on H Street Northeast. By the way, Dirty Water is a really cool sports bar. If you ever get a chance in D.C. to get to Dirty Water Sports Bar, one of the best bars you can ever go to.
Is it a Boston-based kind of, is it a Boston fan bar kind of thing? Because Dirty Water, that's a big song up in Boston. Love that Dirty Water.
It's not really...
No,
it's not really Boston-based. But
well, I'm not Boston-based. I mean like a Boston fan bar.
No, not really.
No,
not really.
Okay.
And Tacoma Station Tavern on 4th Street Northwest. Now, these machines, these are kiosks only. There's no live person there. They actually kick out a ticket, like a lottery ticket, when you place your bets.
Now, where can you redeem these things at?
Well, first things first.
Okay.
You can't use a credit card.
No, okay.
It's cash only.
Cash only. All right.
18 years or older.
Wow, that's great.
Can place a bet on nearly any sporting event, including the Olympics, which are going on now.
All right.
Winning tickets can be cashed up to $600 anonymously at the locations.
Okay, all right.
Anything above that, you got to have an ID and go to the lottery headquarters to collect the winnings.
Okay.
And just like a lottery ticket, The DC lottery said winning tickets expire after 180 days.
All right. So check your tickets.
And the lottery expects to have at least 30 more locations by the end of the year.
Hey, I hope other states follow suit. Well, Washington, D.C. is not a state, but I hope states follow Washington, D.C.'s guidance.
Aren't they looking at making D.C. a state at some point?
I hope so. They should.
We'll see. But let's go over to some deals, which were kind of interesting. Let's do the simple one first. Actually, this is almost commonplace now. BetMGM. They announced the signing of former NFL running back Marshawn Lynch as brand ambassador.
Okay.
Lynch will be doing marketing campaigns, promotions, fan events, different activations for the BetMGM Sportsbook. But let's get to two really interesting deals that combine sports betting and media. We have WynnBET and Tipico. Now, we don't talk about Tipico too much.
No.
German operator. They are only operating right now in New Jersey. They did a huge deal with Gannett.
All right.
The media company.
It's a big media company.
People will know Gannett better by the
newspapers, really.
Newspapers they do, but you'll know them better by USA Today. They own the USA Today brand. They own like the Indy Star, Detroit Free Press. And one of the things about the USA Today network of sites and papers they have a huge betting system.
USA
sites.
Today, really?
They have a betting site.
I have to check out the USA Today betting section then if they have a betting section.
They have a huge, actually one of the best out there in terms of sports betting reporting.
Okay, USA Today.
USA
okay.
Today.
All right, I'll check it out.
As a matter of fact,
let me see.
I believe their site used to be called For the Win.
Okay.
Their sports betting sections. Because now it's not going to be that anymore. It's
right.
going to be rebranded as Bet for the Win, powered by Tipico Sportsbook. So the fact that this is a wide-ranging media deal, it's going to be a 5-year deal. Tipico will spend $90 million with Gannett in terms of advertising and affiliate fees.
Wow.
So it's going to be basically plateau numbers. You hit so many customers coming back, they're going to be spending up to $90 million on the deal for 5 years. Also, Gannett will also have the right to acquire a minority interest in Tipico's U.S. business. That's a interesting little maneuver, and I think we saw that in a couple other deals where, in exchange for hitting certain plateaus and over the course of the deals, they get majority or not majority, but ownership interest in the U.S. operations.
By the way, I'm on the USA Today site For the Win. Very good section. I got to check this out.
It will no longer be called For the Win.
Oh, it's not? Okay, not For the Win.
It's going to be rebranded. Like I said, it's going to be rebranded Bet for the Win, powered by Tipico Sportsbook.
Okay.
You're going to see Tipico content all across the USA Today network of sports and betting sites beginning at the NFL season. So this deal is starting right away. This is a quick form deal. It's probably been in the works for a month or two, maybe even longer than that, because these deals are not easy to structure. And also part of the deal that was announced was that Tipico not only will be in New Jersey, they're also going to be launching in Colorado soon, too.
Great.
So they're going to be adding to that 98.8% online handle that Colorado seems to report almost every month. The other big media deal was WynnBET.
Mm-hmm.
Multi-year, multi-platform deal with Cumulus Media. That's actually kind of interesting because it kind of goes with iHeart with their sports betting channels that they'll be doing, the gamblers and all that stuff. WynnBET will be all across every Cumulus Media outlet, both radio as well as digital.
Great.
They're going to be seeing a lot of studio sponsorships, local advertising in the different markets with the radio stations, brand endorsements from the local radio personalities for WynnBET, and also they're going to be doing some stuff on site events. That's going to involve the WynnBET studio in Encore Vegas.
I got to tell you, I'm seeing a lot of their commercials in New Jersey now on TV. So WynnBET is making a big splash.
Well, again, it's going to be one of those interesting deals to see exactly how it progresses. WynnBET did also deals with different podcast networks. I know they did Blue Wire Podcast.
Yep.
They're the official sports book of that.
Actually, I think
network.
Don't they have a studio in Vegas in the Wynn?
Where the Wynn Vegas
All right.
studio comes into play, where they're going to be doing on-site stuff with WynnBET.
Great.
So it's going to be kind of interesting to watch that one develop as well. And last deal for the week here, and then we'll have to end it right here. DraftKings, they did a deal with Sports and Social, the upscale sports bar chain that's run by the Cordish companies.
It has great casinos. I mean, the one I need to know the specific name of it. Is it Maryland Live or Live Maryland Casino and Hotel? I know they have one in Philadelphia. Is it Live Philadelphia? Everyone's calling it Philly Live. So I don't know the official name of this thing.
Well, it's Live Philadelphia.
Live Philadelphia.
The one in Maryland is Maryland Live.
Maryland Live.
Now, this all is part of the Sports and Social bars.
That's where the sports and social bars are that I'm familiar with.
Well, they're all over the country.
Okay, well, those are the two I'm familiar with.
And it's all part of Live Dining and Entertainment. That's the division that runs sports and social.
Okay.
They're going to be opening DraftKings branded sports bars in Nashville and Detroit first.
Okay.
Where they have some really huge sports and social bar restaurants there.
I like those combinations. We were in one in New Jersey. It was it was PointsBet,
Topgolf,
and Topgolf. Yeah, Topgolf and PointsBet combined, and it was such a great place. Great food. You have golf, and you have PointsBet's presence there. It was a great scene. I like it.
Well, the one thing that's going to differ between the Topgolf PointsBet deal and the DraftKings Sports and Social deal, the Sports and Socials are not only in casinos, but they are in sporting venues. There's a couple in stadiums. Great. There's a couple concert halls, that sort of stuff. And it's going to be they're going to be rebranding not just the name, but they're going to be redesigning some of the venues. They hired a company called iCrave to create an upscale premier sports and entertainment experience. Now, God knows what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
That is perfect PR speak for they're going to make a really high-end, cool-looking, snazzy little joint that's going to be having sports betting as well as fantasy sports as well as food and drink. Now, the one thing about this, the DraftKings, since they're fantasy, this has a lot more applications than just being a sports book.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, DraftKings is going to be taking advantage of the 55 million visitors to sports and social places around the country. So this was a great deal.
Great.
That's it for this week's book report. If you have any news or notes you want us to talk about, info@turnpikesportsradio.com. Whatever we didn't get to, and again, there's a lot more stuff we didn't have the chance to talk about this week. Head on over to turnpikesportsradio.com and click on the blog button. You'll see a print version of the book report.
That'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike.